What is up, everybody, my kaiju friends and fans? This is Phil, the Kaiju King, from my collection room here in Greater Cincinnati. In this video, I'm doing a look at the Death Ghidorah, or aka Death Ghidorah, which was released early in 2018 by X Plus, and it's in the large monster series, 25 centimeter line. It's a very excellent figure, very well done. To me, it was one of the contenders for figure of the year last year. It was an underdog, and it's a highly underrated figure. And it is also from the favorite sculptors line. And first, we will take a quick look at the box. And let's do that right now. And here it is, everybody. Here's the box for the Death Ghidorah, or Death Ghidorah. It is a really big box, actually. It's very long, very, very long. Of course, it has the yellow sticker signifying the RIC. It says favorite sculptors line, and then the movie title and the name of Death Ghidorah on the box there. It's a really nicely done box. It is a big box, and I like the artwork on it with the black and white of the silhouette kind of the figure. This is what the figure exactly looks like. It pretty much is a silhouette of the figure. Nicely done box though. And now we will move on to the main attraction, the actual figure, and we'll do that right now. Alright, everybody, and here it is, the 25 centimeter large monster series favorite sculptors line Death Ghidorah, or Death Ghidorah, either way you put it. He's known by both. From the 1996 film Rebirth of Mothra. And basically in the movie he is an ancient creature that came from outer space, but he is sealed in the ground by a magic seal. And there's a battle with these fairies. That's what I call them, fairies. And there's an evil fairy, and they're all sisters, but one of them's evil. And she rides around a little tiny creature. It looks pretty much like this, very similar to this. And she manages to get the seal and release Death Ghidorah. And this thing is awesome. The monster is very menacing in the movie. It kills the grown Mothra pretty easy. And then it wounds the larva Mothra in the movie, and it's a very badass rendition of King Ghidorah. It's very wicked looking. It's very demonic looking. It looks like it's a straight demon out of hell, kind of like Destroya does. It's a very menacing looking creature and kaiju, and it's direct relation to King Ghidorah. But in the movie, it does defeat the grown Mothra, and it almost defeats the larva both simultaneously, but the small larva survives and then cocoons and becomes the new adult Mothra. I think it was called Mothra Leo, if I'm not mistaken. And then that Mothra manages to and capture him, and they get the seal back on to contain it. So this Ghidorah is not dead, it's just contained and sealed by that seal. But the movie's okay. I mean, this is the most impressive thing of the movie, this version of Ghidorah. It's really nicely done by Toho, and it's really impressive figure. Amazing, stunning details on it. And as far as this figure goes, this is the RIC edition, like I said. It comes with this. I think the standard came with this rock. And I guess his paw is supposed to stay on there, but mine tends to just lean back on his tail, and I'm fine with that, because he's actually flat-footed, I think, like this. But mine always tends to go back, and I just let him do that. And also, this RIC is a light up. I will show you this in a little bit. Here's the packet, nicely done. It has favorite sculptors line at the top, and then the Japanese lettering for the movie and the creature. But it's a nice, I like how they do this with these battery packs now. They signify on them what movie it is and what creature it is. So it's pretty cool they do that. As far as this figure goes, his footprint is pretty big, especially because of his wingspan. You have to have room for these wings. His wingspan's like 26, 27 inches, I think, if I read correctly. I got that off Kaiju Addicts. But he's really a massive wingspan, and that's what's going to take up the shelf space, is making sure he has wingspan room. His length is probably 15, 16 inches, something like that, from the tip of his tail to the front paw here. But his wingspan is what really eats up the room. You have to be careful, you know, with how you position him on a shelf. But he's very impressive looking in a collection, especially if you have him beside some straight up Godzilla figures. I mean, he's got the red and the four-legged Ghidorah, which it's been him and Kaiser Ghidorah, I think, are the only two four-legged Ghidorahs, if I'm not mistaken. And makes him unique in that sense. But he's a very nicely done figure. His tail goes down, touches, and then goes slightly off to his right, very slightly. One tail on this Ghidorah, but it comes to two separate segregated points at the end. They spread out, and maybe that signifies the two tails of all the other Ghidorahs, but this Ghidorah only has one big main tail, but his two tail splits into two pieces at the very end, and they're kind of really pointy, almost look like stingers. And then on the actual tail, he has all these fanned out membranes, kind of, with black charcoal grayish colored supports in them. On his back, this is much more bigger and pronounced, same thing, membrane with the larger black membrane support in the middle, charcoal gray. Pretty much the whole figure is the charcoal grayish color, like the Godzilla's, pretty similar, with some black tones and highlights in the crevices of the skin and stuff. But it's really nicely done. Of course, on his feet are nicely sculpted, three-toed feet. His front paws are three-toed as well. The nails on both feet, for both front and back feet, are bonish white, dull white, with at the base of the nails you can see some black and some black streaks into the nails, which is pretty cool and detailed, actually. Pretty neat how they did it. Nice little streaking out from the base of the nail into the nail a little bit. Some black streaks, kind of. The textures and stuff, and his skin is pretty bumpy and thick. He's a thick Ghidorah, probably the thickest one there's been. He's a bulky, thick-bottomed Ghidorah in the base of his feet and his legs and his thighs and his front legs and his chest. He's pretty beefy, but his skin textures are all very nicely detailed and done. And his sculpt is very nice with the skin and everything. He's got some thick skin, it looks like to be, and some probably for protection armor-wise, because he really is thick-looking version of Ghidorah. His wings are on both wings. They are big and wide, and they have the red membrane with the black outstretched membrane supports there, and the membrane is pretty much all reddish color. You can see some veins even in them on each side. It's pretty cool. There is some vein definition there on them. And then top of the mid and the top of each wing, there is one horned spike sticking up, and it's the same color as the toenails or the claws. It is the bone whitish, dull white, with some black lines coming from the base of the bone. That's on both wings. On the back of the neck is some very good, nice, detailed, sculpted scaling that is interlocked and interconnected to each one, and they're kind of pointy, especially the middle row. They go to a pretty good point on there. But it's nicely done with the sculpted details of that. Front of the necks are the same way. interlocking, interconnecting scales. The front of the necks are a bit lighter in the gray color than the back. Definitely lighter in the gray color on the black. Also the belly area and the bottom of the tail area are lighter in gray color, but the rest of him is a little bit darker color. As far as his heads, his left head is pretty much straight out, open mouth. The eyes are a menacing red, straight red with a black pupil that's a slit, kind of like a snake, and it's up and down, and it's a very menacing looking eye, but his mouth is open. The center head is more of a barely open mouth, and the right hand head, and the center head goes pretty much straight out, but the right head there has a open mouth, even a little more open than the left. It's the most open of the three, the right head, and his head kind of goes up and kind of out pointed toward his right a little bit. So, but the other two are pretty much straight on, but the right head does go out and kind of to the right. As far as he has the classic King Ghidorah 2 spikes sticking up on his head that go back, and then on the side of the back of his face, like the cheek area, there are a bunch of little spikes that stick out on each head that run back toward the necks. It's a very cool design. This is a very underrated figure and a very classic, cool design. I love this four-legged Ghidorah better than Kaiser Ghidorah by far, but the movie was just okay to me. This is what made the film, was this creature in the movie. And I also in the movie, when he first rose, he didn't have his wings because he was feeding off the energy of the earth. That's what he does. He destroys world by feeding off the energy and sucking in its energy dry. And he had to stay. He couldn't even move around. And when he first was released, he had to stay in that spot until he gained strength. And then once he gained strength and he kept sucking energy, then his wings grew out. They were just kind of these two things here, the main outward arms of the wing, and a little bit of the red membrane, not much on each of those, until he fully gathered enough energy to really become the full-scale Death Ghidorah. But it's a really cool and nicely done figure by X Plus. This is probably, honestly, my favorite figure in the favorite sculptors line. So 262s, a GMK 2001, the 64, Varan, and then this Death Ghidorah. I think that's what I have as far as the FSL. I think there's also an FSL in the Ultraman line. I forget the name of the creature, but I don't really collect the Ultraman stuff, so. But this is a really cool, nicely done figure. And also, I'll show you the light up here. And here's the light up feature with it. And it looks pretty cool, but it looks really cool done dark. Like he looks like a Halloween decoration almost. He's really menacing looking, and it's one of the cooler light ups in all the light ups in my opinion. This and the Defo Real Shin fourth form light up where his tail lights up, and the 25 centimeter Hedra RIC light up. Those three are, to me, some of the coolest light ups they've done. But it's definitely really menacing and cool looking, and the eyes light up, and the slit in the eye is pronounced with the light up. It's really cool how they did it. All right, I will do some size comparisons with this guy, and let's do that right now. All right, everybody, I'm back here, but this is a hell of a shot. The OG King Ghidorah 1964 Monster Zero with the 25 centimeter favorite sculptors line Death Ghidorah. Really two massive wings set up here. Two massive Ghidorahs, but they're both very nicely done. The 64 is probably half an inch taller, not really that much taller, a little bit, not much. The wingspan is actually wider on Death Ghidorah, I believe, because 64's wings go more upward. But they're both nicely done. All right, let's do another quick size comparison right now. All right, everybody, I'm back. Got my 25 centimeter Godzilla 1964 B suit, which is the Godzilla with the King Ghidorah there, 64. You can see the scale is pretty good. Ghidorah usually is always taller than Godzilla, so it is no different in this case. Alright, we'll do one final size comparison real quick and let's move on to that right now. Alright, everybody, final size comparison is the newly released in the last few weeks Orga 25 centimeter with my Death Ghidorah 25 centimeter. Pretty cool looking together, I must say. All right, let's move on. I'll do some quick closing comments on this figure, and we'll do that right away. All right, everybody, I'm back. Final thoughts on this figure. It is an excellent rendition of Death Ghidorah or Death Ghidorah, whichever you prefer. It is nicely sculpted. It's very masterfully done. It's probably my favorite release of the FSL line to date. It's a really immaculate figure. It captures Death Ghidorah in all his glory in the film. Like I said, the movie to me was just okay. I need to watch the other two movies because I really haven't watched them yet. I want to watch them and get a feel for them, but I would definitely eventually get that done, but I bought the set that has all three of them on two discs, I think, and this movie is okay to me, but Death Ghidorah is what makes that movie, is this design and this creature, and he's not dead, and it would actually be awesome to me personally if in the MonsterVerse they would bring back Ghidorah. Some, like an evil person finds this Ghidorah and releases him, and Godzilla has to deal with him. That would be awesome, I think. Have a legendary version of Death Ghidorah. Godzilla fighting him, and he had some crazy powers in the movie. He blew fire. His middle neck blew a bunch of fire, and he just had all kinds of crazy powers going on. Pretty wicked Ghidorah. I think he would give Godzilla a really good fight too. But it would be cool to see this Ghidorah again in a movie, because he is not dead, he's just contained. So it's an open opportunity for Toho to bring him back, or allow Legendary to bring him, because it would be cool to have Godzilla fight a different version of a Ghidorah. I know a lot of people want Mecha King Ghidorah, but I would also think it would be really cool to see this Ghidorah battle Godzilla. But I highly recommend this figure if you don't have it. The problem is, it was released early last year in Japan. It's limited, I think, because on eBay, this thing is ridiculously priced. It's plus 1,000, I think, for this thing. It's just ridiculous. I'm not even sure those were the RICs. I was looking on eBay, and I don't even think they were the RICs. I'm not sure. Plus $1,000, and I paid like $280 for this, shipped from Japan when I got it, I think, something like that. So it's just crazy how much this thing is going. People are asking for it. If you can manage to get one, I highly recommend it. Okay, I will bring the camera closer now for a close-up of this guy. I want to thank everybody for tuning into my channel and supporting my channel. And this is Phil, the Kaiju King, from my collection room in Greater Cincinnati. I want to wish everyone a wonderful day.